Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin in Tucson, Arizona. Thanks for being here today. OldPuebloCoin.com, TucsonCoinshow.com. Come and see us sometime. January is the big shoe, the really big show, and other than that, let's have some fun looking at coins together. Oh, sweet revolution, my friends. Let me talk to you about some coins that you may know nothing about, and that's okay, but I'd like you to stay just the comparisons of mankind and the want for freedom over tyranny, out from tyranny, is never ending and never will be, as far as I can tell. And for those of you who don't know anything about Mexico, that's okay. You don't have to, but being from the Sonoran Desert here down in Tucson, very close neighbors. And there was a revolution in 1914, 1915. So, while not a lot of people pay attention to that time period of history, if you're an American, in the meantime, we were sending armies down to Mexico. I actually have some tokens and medals that are from when we sent armies down into Mexico. And it's a crazy time period, really. Was that Victoriano Huerta? There's Huerta dollars. Well, these guys, little dudes here, these are an old collection of revolutionary coins. So very different strikes and appeal to each one from several different states. So most of these are going to be dated 1914, 1915. Little 5 centavo piece. There's different factions that were working together to overthrow Huerta, and in the meantime, they ended up fighting afterwards. So this is, these guys are from Oaxaca, I think on those guys. These ones are from Guerrero. A lot of those states, this is a terrible map, and pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, but you'll see Mexico City is kind of here, and Oaxaca, Guerrero, Puebla, Durango is way up yonder. I'm off the charts. I'm up here somewhere. And what I want you to pay attention to a little bit on these guys, oh, I said Oaxaca, these are Chihuahua. Oh, there it is. So the overall difference in strike appeal, just thinking about what it's like to have a revolution, we're 1776, they're 1914. Some of you guys are almost that old, like you remember talking to your parents who fought in this war, and it's a pretty fantastic time period in the history of humanity. Something worth thinking about, knowing about. 1915. So what's interesting to me is these Chihuahua pieces are really very nicely made compared to most of the other stuff. And you can just see there's like a very wide variety of overall strikes and types, individual dies that were made and then sunk. Reminds me a little bit of some of the odd like gun money that you see from Ireland during their revolution. So most of these items, if you look on eBay and just kind of start poking around for this stuff, a lot of this stuff is pretty inexpensive still. These old holders, lots of them say, $2, $3, $4, $5, $6 kind of stuff. Some of these are probably quite a bit more than that now, but by quite a bit more, I mean maybe they're 2, 3, 4 times as much money as they used to be. Here's a Pueblo. This one's kind of cool, but that's still a pretty inexpensive item for a really amazing piece of history, which is absolutely connected to United States military activity. Brigada Francisco Madero. Transitorio 20 centavos. Beautiful piece. Really cool. I just love this type of stuff. It's like if you could buy American colonial currency, but for just pennies on the dollar compared to what colonial stuff goes for. Let me see what else we got here. Some more Pueblos here. These guys are cool. Super different. Look how this guy's got like the small eagle going on here. And that's one of the things in general I like about Mexican coins is just even their stuff that was federally created in the 19th century. A lot of that stuff is just so odd. one-offs. You can see them re-engraving the dies, and they're all messy and sloppy. It looks like my handwriting. Durango, a couple little 1914 pieces. These are all 1-cent pieces here. Let's look at these guys here, and this one's very different. So let's look at a couple of these real quick. These 1914 pieces. There are some pieces that are from the revolutionary period that are super rare silver pieces that are mighty expensive. You'll see a coin that'll have something similar, but a big, large silver coin, but it'll have like a bold surface area and then like some other really weak surrounding areas to it. And they'll be like $500, $700. And then this one I haven't seen, the 5-cent Estados Durango, very nice. This looks like it was actually more of like a nicely sunk die compared to all those 1 cents. It looks like they were probably taking those out. By the way, they were taking those out, not probably. I mean, you literally had people melting down church bells outside of town to make money during the revolution. And one of the more interesting things on this little group of items that I have is there's this little handwritten note here on this one Chihuahua piece that says 5 centavos, copper from telephone telegraph lines. Yeah, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool little note. Got all these Durangos, lots of Durangos here. Here's a bigger Durango, 20 cent. I already saw one of those, but I'm fascinated by the way the metal is shaped. This is what reminds me so much of the gun money. Just the way the metal is just like not annealed properly. It's just let's melt it down and strike some coins, All right, there's a couple other little pieces in here that we've got to take a look at that are pieces that are going to be a little bit more spicy and pricey here. First of all, the Oaxaca pieces are also, like the Chihuahua pieces, a little bit more consistent as far as like the way that they're made, but also super low relief coins. So think of like a peace dollar with how flat they come. Oops. Especially in the middle of the coin here. Just very flat. Estado. There it is. Oaxaca. Once again, look at that. Look at the way that date is engraved on there. Lots of different kinds. These guys, the date's bigger. I don't think the other one had stars on it. Did it? Stars upon theirs? Oh, it did have stars. Stars. But this has a nice fat 1915. This 1915 was very wiry. Almost looks like it was hand drawn on there. And if you're from other parts of the country, you probably don't see a lot of these. And we used to see them a lot more than we do now, but still, they're probably a lot less likely to walk into a shop in Sheboygan. This is the one that's most intriguing. This is actually a really tough piece. This is a 3-cent piece. And I can't think of the last time I had a 3-cent piece, but it's a cool piece. Moneda Provincial, 3 centavos. I'm trying to think of, I know that there's some federal Mexican coinage out of the 1880s. It's a 1, 2, and a 3-cent piece. Here's the 10 cent. Let me find something else to show you here. 10 cent, 20 cent. Okay, the last of us are going to be these interesting ones where it's like, I can't even say that word. Cacalotepeque. There's no A at the end, but I put it there anyways because I wanted it there. But this, I'm not sure that exactly because this has, I think the Guerrero, St. Mark's is the Guerrero piece does. I'm really curious. Some of these other smaller states are really difficult and really expensive. So I have to double do some research, y'all, on those two pieces because this one also, Republica Mexican. Huh. This looks like it was struck over a struck piece. In fact, I'm sure it was struck over a struck piece. You can see how the things don't line up right. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, this one I'm not as familiar with. I wonder if they took a struck piece from, and maybe that's the key to this one also. Maybe they took a Durango piece and then struck over it. Well, a sweet revolution on my mind. Thanks, guys, for joining me today for this just fun little journey through coin history, mankind history, because, you know, collecting coins is learning about history and about people. As always, like, share, subscribe, comments, do the YouTube, watch more videos. All right. Enjoy the rest of your evening. We will catch you next time.